When I first met my now husband, I was still reeling from my first husband's abandonment and betrayal. And I am so grateful to my now husband that he saw the potential in me, that he didn't see me just as the hurt woman, the betrayed woman that I was at that point, that he gave me the space, the patience, and the support to do the healing that I needed to do, to be the partner that I can be. What I'm going to talk about today are those things that you need to know if you're entering into a relationship with somebody who has been cheated on. Now, I will be talking in generalizations, so not all of these will apply to every person or every relationship, yet they are all good things to keep in mind. First, recognize that betrayal is a trauma. Unless you've been through it, you tend to underestimate how all-encompassing the pain is. It is not just a normal breakup. And it is way more than just the realization that your partner has been sleeping around with somebody else. It calls into question everything that you've believed. It makes you doubt yourself, your reality, your perceptions with every fiber of your being. And because it is a trauma, healing from it is a process. And it's a process that may take longer than what you think. Don't rush it. Don't believe that just because it happened a certain number of months or years ago that they should be over it. This is not something that they are ever going to get over in a way that it's as though it never happened. Instead, this is something that they are going to learn to live with. It will not always be the dominant part of their life, but it will always be a significant impact on their life. Don't try to save them. You cannot save them. You cannot fix them. You cannot heal them. All of that is their responsibility. If you want to help them, what you can do is give them your support. Tell them, and more importantly, show them that you believe that they can heal, that you believe that they are strong enough to move through this. Give them space. Give them time. Give them a shoulder to cry on when they need it and a kick in the butt when they need that. You cannot do the work for them, but you can be by their side while they do the work for themselves. Be patient with them. There are going to be times that they respond from the past. Maybe you say something or you've done something that in the present moment is not a big deal. But for them, it brought back some memories. And so instead of responding from the current moment, they may be responding from the past. Now, I know for me, for quite a while, I would completely flood when this happened. I would become overwhelmed with emotion and go into fight or flight response where really you couldn't talk to me. There was no rational thought. I wasn't able to process anything. And the only thing that I could do was really step away until I could calm down again and I could actually have a conversation. Now, hopefully this isn't something that happens frequently. If it does, it may be a sign that they're not ready to be in a relationship yet. But I'm now 12 years out from the betrayal, and it still happens occasionally. It's one of those things that I don't know if you ever completely can put that behind you. So if your partner is responding from the past, if they are overreacting to something in the present, try to stay calm yourself. Try to recognize that maybe this isn't about you. This isn't about the current moment. And give them the space to be able to process what they need to. Now, one caveat, be careful about accusing them of responding from the past instead of actually being upset at the current situation. Because all that's likely to do is to cause them to be defensive. Instead, maybe ask questions, be willing to listen. You can plant that seed and let them come to that realization on their own. Sometimes when people have been cheated on, they try to control their environment so that it won't ever happen again. And one of the ways that that happens sometimes is through demanding that you have no privacy whatsoever, that they want to be able to see and know everything that you're doing. And that's a fear response. They think that if there's nothing hidden, then betrayal cannot happen again. But not only is that a false reassurance, it's also not fair to you. Everybody deserves privacy, even in a relationship. Now, there's a difference between privacy and transparency. You have the right to your own things, your own thoughts that you don't share with them. But what's not okay in a relationship is if you're actively hiding something that you know will hurt your partner or that your partner has the right to know. Now, don't actively hide things from your partner, but at the same time, recognize that no matter how much you lay out on the table, if they're afraid that you're going to cheat, you're not going to be able to convince them otherwise. And if they insist on having an all-access pass to you, that's a sign that they need to do some work to address those fears and also the limitations of believing that they know everything. One of the best ways that you can prove to them that you are trustworthy is by making sure that your words match your actions. For most of us that have been betrayed, we went through months, if not years, of being told one thing while something else entirely was actually going on. And so everything that you can do to show that your words and actions are in alignment will go a long way to building their trust in you. But even more importantly than them trusting you is they're learning to trust themselves again. You see, they were in a situation where they believed that their world was one way when the reality was something completely different. Their beliefs and their perceptions were wrong. And so right now they're trying to figure out how to listen to themselves, how to trust themselves. And as with any new skill, it's going to be a little rocky at first. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to make some missteps. They're going to overreact to certain gut instincts and perhaps underreact to others. Be patient. They're learning. Being in a relationship with somebody who's been cheated on isn't easy. We've been wounded deeply, and sometimes those wounds are going to bleed on you. It's not fair. It's not your fault that this happened to them. You didn't do these things, and yet there are going to be times that you have to deal with the aftermath. But I promise you it can be worth it. Because those of us that have been cheated on, not only are we not broken, but we can come back from it better and wiser and more able to love than ever before, if you give us a chance.